Hi, everyone. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to the people who are joining from different parts of the world. Thanks a lot for joining us today for this webinar and taking time out from a busy schedule. I am Nalin. I lead product MoEngage, and I'll also be the host for the R. So today we are going to talk about how marketers can unlock the impactful engagement as well as ROI with MoEngage predictions, and how they can harness the power of the predictive AI that we have created to kind of achieve the business outcomes that they have. Today, we are going to talk about the agenda is largely set out like this, which is we will try to help you understand what are predictions, what are MoEngage predictions, and how they impact your business. And towards the last 5 to 10 minutes, we will try to take up as many questions as we can. And that's not all. There is also a surprise towards the end. So stay tuned towards the very end. So I think as we all understand, we as marketers, we have to kind of walk on a tightrope on a day-to-day or a monthly basis to kind of ensure that how our customers are getting an impeccable experience while balancing the business outcomes that we need to manage. And for that, marketers seek to engage customers across their journey and try to drive the business outcomes that they have. And I think a lot of you can relate to these day-to-day struggles in terms of if you are a marketer who's running the category or who's running a e-commerce business, you can understand some of these pieces very clearly. If you are taking care of retention or engagement, you can also kind of relate to a lot of these challenges, which is as an e-commerce marketer, if I'm kind of looking out that, hey, I have certain targets to meet on a certain category, how can I go about and achieve that? If my subscriptions are going down, how can I go about and boost those subscription? If as a marketer, I'm seeing higher than usual churn rate, how can we go about and reduce it? Or how can we reduce the install for our app, which are probably happening on say day 7 or day 14 or day 21? Or how can we even go about and improve the ROI of any campaign initiative that we are running? And I think today we are looking forward to help you answer all these things and give you a way to kind of achieve these outcomes in an easy manner. So in general, what marketers do to achieve these outcomes is they'll go about try to understand their end users and try to divide them into certain segments, which is, hey, these are the users who are probably churning, let me target them. Or these are the users who might be interested in the category where I am looking forward to fulfill my goal, and let me go about and target them. So what they do largely is they segment these audience to target the right set of customers whom they think might have a chances to kind of help them achieve their business outcomes. But what largely happens is that with this, all these segmentation rules that we're talking about, they are largely based on rules. And I'll probably take an example in the next slide, which is, let's say the first example that we talked about, which is, hey, I want to increase the conversions or want to increase the revenue for a certain category, which is kind of lagging from my business goals that I've set up. Let's take an example. It's a sportswear clothing category, and you're a marketer from an e-commerce brand. What you are largely going to do is you are going to target all the users who have probably placed the order from your sportswear category in last 30 days or 90 days. Or you're going to kind of look at and target the people who have been browsing the products from this category. Or maybe you can even go to an extent to say, hey, there are certain users who already have these kind of products in the cart or have added these products in the cart and probably dropped off in the last 30 days. So let me target them. And this is a good heuristic. This is a good heuristic rule that probably we have learned over time. But how reliable these rules are, or what are the kind of limitations with these rules? I think a lot of these rules are based on human judgment. Like if I'm talking about like what is the right intent depth, what is the right threshold to ensure that I'm targeting the users who actually have the right intent to convert on that category, right? So is 3 times the right threshold? Is 5 times the right threshold? What are these thresholds? We don't know. And we again use the heuristics to do that. And these rules may change over time. What largely also happens is that as humans, when we understand the rules, we implement those rules time and again. But then these rules cannot be managed at scale. And hence we try to minimize those rules to kind of try to create a neural shortcut for ourselves. So what we do is we try to consider only limited factors. We try to say, hey, maybe I'll consider only placed order or viewed page or add to cart for considering or for creating the rule of my segmentation. What largely also happens is that these rules, they become ingrained into our system in terms of both the tool that you're using as well as the mind that we use to kind of process these segments over time, right? So what largely happens is we keep on using these as constants, which is, hey, if the person has viewed the category 3 times, that's a good enough rule, right? Maybe in times when there is a lot of online shopping happening, when there are times where a lot of sale is going on, maybe this number can go up to 5 or go up to 7 because the casual browsing increases. But what is largely happening is that these rules we are not changing. We are treating these variables as constants in our tools as well as while we are planning our campaign strategy. And all of these rules can, as I mentioned, can change even if you launch a new category, or if you are kind of putting up a new offer on that category, or if you are kind of rolling out a new product altogether or a new feature altogether. And then what largely happens is these rules become archaic over time or stale over time. And as marketers, we don't probably, given that we are balancing so many acts, we don't have enough time to go about and revisit and revise these rules. And even when we have some comfort of time, we don't know how often to revisit and revise these rules because we don't know where they have actually changed. And that's where I think the campaign or the customer experience is also very much impacted. Why? Because the campaigns may or may not work and you are still sending out that message to your user, and that would lead to a poor customer experience. It is not going to help your conversions also. It is not going to help you achieve your business outcomes or get a ROI. And what that leads to is a lost customer and probably a lost CLTV that we generally take as a holy grail in all our retention and engagement initiatives. But I think that's something which is not to be worried about, because that's why we are here. We are here to change that specifically, which is how we can break these rules. So it is time to break these rules, and we are going to do that with predictions. Happy to introduce predictions to all of you. What predictions are? Predictions are a way of helping our marketers to be able to predict the user behavior and to derive the segments out of it, who can do the desired or undesired action, and then target these segments based on your campaign strategy, based on the user propensity to take that desired or undesired action. And then with that, you can finally create the campaigns to maximize the desired response or minimize the undesired response. What largely works behind the scenes is our artificial intelligence or deep learning, which continuously keep on learning from the user behavior, which can keep on creating the models, train them, retrain them as and when the data changes. So all the rules or all the models which are created here are not going to be stale and can also keep up with the pace of your business or the pace of the change in your consumer behavior. Here's a small video that I want to kind of show you before we move forward.
This is Dave, who works at BlueBank. Dave's job revolves around building long-lasting relationships with his customers by offering them highly personalized banking services via digital channels. Dave engages his customers with all the products they have to offer, from loans to deposits to instant banking services. Great, right? But let's meet one of Dave's customers, Rick. Rick owns a credit card from BlueBank, but he isn't too impressed by the benefits the card offers, so he's planning to discontinue the same. While Dave was trying to offer BlueBank's host of products and services to Rick, this was something Dave just didn't see coming. How could he have predicted this? Here's where we come in. MoEngage's all new predictions. MoEngage's predictions helps brands predict their customers' future actions and behavior through an intuitive and easy to use dashboard. So managers like Dave need not be blindsided anymore and can proactively engage customers with the right communication at the right time. In this case, BlueBank could predict which customer could possibly need a loan, or which customer is looking to deactivate a certain service. It's not just banks. Predictions can help brands across sectors like retail, education, entertainment, telecom, and more. Brands can predict which customer is likely to convert, which customer needs that slight push to make a purchase, or which customers are at the risk of churning. And based on these predictions, they can fine-tune their marketing strategy. All of this is made possible with the power of MoEngage's proprietary AI platform, Sherpa, which gets predictions up and running in no time, without any help from data scientists, engineers, or analysts. It's a win-win for brands like BliBli, marketers like Dave, and their high-value customers like Rick. So get ready to reap the benefits of powerful AI with MoEngage.
So I hope that gave you a brief idea about what predictions are. And with predictions, marketers can solve their biggest challenges. I think we talked about these challenges, which is, hey, I have to fulfill the goal of managing the category revenue, or have to boost the subscription revenue, or I need to reduce the churn rate. With predictions, marketers can go about and predict the users who are going to purchase from a certain category, say like sportswear. They can also go about and create the predictions to understand who are the users who are likely to churn or who are likely to go uninstall your app in the next few days. You can also go about understand that who are the users who are going to probably respond to your comm, be it about notifications, be it about emails, so that you can focus on the users who are actually going to click on your emails and reach out to them instead of kind of spraying and praying across all the customer segments who might not even open up your email. You can also go about and understand the propensity to buy from a certain brand, so that if you have, as a business, inventory which you want to kind of move out, you can go about and say, hey, this is the inventory that we need to move out. So give me the users who are likely to buy products of this particular brand. So it's all about you understanding your outcomes, coming back to MoEngage and say, hey, who are the users who are most likely to fulfill my business outcome, and then target them, so that you can always ensure that all the communications that are going out to the right users, hence delivering the right experience, and also to the users who are likely to convert, so that the business goals are also met. I would want to probably give a quick demo on how you can use predictions or create predictions on MoEngage and what all capabilities it provides you. So on MoEngage, when you come to MoEngage dashboard, if the prediction feature is enabled for you, you will be able to see a sidebar menu called as predict. Under that, there is a listing of all the predictions that are created. You can also create on this plus button and go about and create a prediction from here. You will see a whole bunch of listing here in terms of all the predictions if you have created any in the past. Once that is done, or you want to create a new prediction, you can come about and say, hey, I want to create a prediction by clicking on the prediction on sidebar menu, or also on the create prediction button. You can come and create a prediction. You can choose which kind of prediction you want to create. MoEngage provides 3 predictions out of the box, which is predict the dormancy, predict the uninstall, and predict the conversion. What largely happens in each one of these is that the marketer will be able to kind of predict the dormancy or the app uninstall or the conversion. You can also go about and create your custom predictions, because we understand that all the things that we're providing here might not be able to meet the flexibility or the range of use cases that you may have. So that's why I've created a sample here, which is I'm creating a custom prediction, and I'm looking forward to create a prediction where I'm saying that people, it's similar to the example that we just took, which is, hey, tell me the users who are going to probably add to the cart or make the purchase from my sportswear category in the next 7 days. And once you do that, you can look about, so MoEngage looks back on 60 days of your data. And once this prediction is created, this will be refreshed. You can control when it has to be refreshed on a certain day, which day you want to refresh it, so that you can accordingly schedule your campaign. And you can also tell MoEngage that, hey, once you're generating the prediction, populate this prediction in my user profile, enrich my user profile with this prediction data, so that MoEngage can directly take up this whole propensity to purchase from sportswear and add it to your user profile, so that you can do easy segmentation. So here is what I've done here, which is propensity to purchase underscore sports, which is representative of the sportswear category. And I've put in the description so that other marketers in my team or the people who I collaborate with can also understand what this attribute or the property stands for. You can come about and create on click create predictions. Once you create a prediction, you will see a page like this once the prediction has been processed. So once the prediction has been processed, you can see that when this prediction was created, what is the type of this prediction, and when was it last run. Given that once a prediction has been made live, it will keep on continuously or periodically refresh itself because of the changing user behavior. Or if the user has already converted, probably kind of move them to a low propensity from a higher propensity, and vice versa. So once you do that, you will be able to see the breakdown of the users with high propensity, medium propensity, and low propensity. MoEngage also shows to the marketers that what is the quality of this prediction. Prediction quality represents that what is the surety with which we have kind of created this recommendation. And that also depends on the kind of data that has been input into the system, the kind of range of data that you are capturing. But then again, prediction quality will at least give you a very clear categorical indicator whether this is a prediction that you can actually trust or not. Once you do that, once you create the prediction, you can always go about and put up there's a create campaign button directly here. You can click on this create campaign button and target this segment directly inside any campaign of your choice. Along with that, you can also see the decile score or the decile distribution of how many of your users are in what decile of this propensity score. And along with that, I think one thing which is really, really important is that while we are doing the things behind the scenes, we want this AI to be explainable to you. We want you to understand also for the future learning that what are the factors which are determining this outcome for my users. And that's where we also go about and tell what are the correlation parameters, what are the parameters, or what are the features which are related or which are positively correlated to the outcome that you're looking forward to drive, or what are the features which are having a negative correlation to the outcome that you are looking forward to drive. And once you do that, with that, you have a good amount of understanding of what a prediction is about, who are the users, who are in what kind of buckets. And then what you can also do is that if you're doing the understanding on a user level, you can always go about on a user profile and say that, hey, who are the users and what is the propensity that they have. So you can just simply probably say, hey, propensity to make a transaction is high. This property is something which we just saved while creating the prediction, right? So these properties exist in the user profile. You can go about and segment on top of this. You can also go to these user profile and you will be able to very clearly visualize how many users have the propensity to churn as low, how many users have propensity to make a transaction as high, or propensity to go dormant as low. This gives you a very clear understanding, and you can even validate some of the assumptions that you have for any of the test users that you are kind of looking forward and work towards. So it's a completely transparent AI for you, which explains itself in terms of what are the key factors which are changing the outcomes, as well as also giving you a sneak peek into who are the users so that you can go about and validate all these assumptions. Going back to our predictions, what are the kind of impact and predictions can create for different industries? We would look at what are the use cases which different verticals like e-commerce or fintechs can use to kind of leverage these predictions. So if you're a e-commerce platform, what you can largely do is if you're a marketer and you probably have a new iPhone coming up onto your platform and you want to predict users who would buy an iPhone in the next X days because you want to drive that sale of that iPhone, what you can do is you can create a prediction, just like I showed you a minute back, putting up the criteria that, hey, users who will complete the purchase in the next 7 or 14 days with product name as iPhone, right? That's what you do, and you publish that prediction. Once you publish that prediction, you will be having a clear breakdown of users who are in the high propensity bucket, users who are in the medium propensity bucket, and users who are in the low propensity bucket. And now that's where your campaign strategy starts from, which is the users who are probably having a very high propensity to buy, they probably don't need as much of a push. What you can do is you can probably go about and make them a cross-sell offering, which is, hey, you're going to buy, you already know they are going to buy an iPhone. You can go about and say, hey, why not consider this maybe an iPhone cover or a glass, which goes directly with this iPhone, or maybe even the AirPods, right? For the ones who are in the medium propensity, you know that they need a little bit of a nudge. And with that, what you can do is you can understand what kind of promotion, maybe a lesser amount of promotion can work for them so that they move away from the fence and convert for you. And the ones who are on the low propensity, they would need high incentive because they are not actually interested. They are not looking forward to buy the iPhone as much. But then maybe if you make them offer, they cannot reject. Maybe they'll go about and buy this. And that's where, again, the goals of the company come into picture. What we are talking about, this strategy works when you are looking forward to maximize your gross merchandise value or probably the top line, which is on total sales. But if you're looking forward to maximize your gross margins or margins, right, you can change your campaign strategy completely here, which is to the high propensity user, you sell the bundled offerings which are having higher margin. To your medium propensity users, you give a smaller discount, which you can afford as per your GM guardrails that you have set. And for the low propensity users, you probably won't even touch them because you know they are going to reduce your gross margin on this category. So all this is dependent on the kind of campaign strategy or the business outcomes that you're looking out as an organization, and then try to club it with the CX that you want to provide to your end users. What it will do largely is it will boost your upsell. It will save the amount of money that you're spending on the discounts, and it will also uplift your sales. Thereby, it is going to boost all the ROI that you're getting from your communication, as well as improve the top line metric that you're looking forward to improve, be it revenue or be it about the gross margins. For any gaming app, I think one of the key challenges is that people, when people go into casual gaming, they install the app and then they go about and uninstall the app. People get stuck at a certain level and they don't find the game anymore interesting, and they kind of leave the app and later on probably uninstall the app. How to kind of come out this vicious cycle? You can probably do it by proactively understanding who are the users who would uninstall the app in the next 2 weeks, and the ones who are having really high propensity, right? You can go about and give them free upgrades to next levels, or you can probably give them those superpowers which are needed for them to engage into your game and go further so that you can bring back the interest that they've just lost. On the medium propensity ones, the people who are having medium propensity to uninstall your app, you can probably give them some discount on the in-app purchases that they're about to make so that they are again engaged, and the ones who are sitting on the fence are again on the positive side of experience and positive side of engagement instead of the ones who might go dormant over time. And the ones who are having low propensity to uninstall your app, you can probably as well leave them as it is because they are probably liking the game as much at this point of time. They are not looking forward to uninstall your app. They are very much engaged with your app. And what will this do, right? Once you understand who are the users who are going to uninstall, and if you can proactively save this uninstall or the churn, you are going to maximize or improve the retention time that they are spending on your app. So they will be spending more time on your app. And what that will do is whatever your monetization model is, be it in-app purchases or be it ads, it is going to improve the customer LTV. And as I mentioned, it is going to drive the retention. And also when initially, if you are going to do a blanket promotion, you probably might be spending money on the people who don't even need your promotion. So that is also going to save a lot of discount spends that you casually keep on making. And thereby it is also going to improve the ROI that you are having with your campaign strategy. For any OTT platform where the customers are coming in and looking at the content, the biggest problem is that probably people go about and try a lot of OTT platform because I love one series, I bought the OTT subscription, but then how to keep them engaged, how to ensure that they renew their subscription. Do we even know whether they are going to renew that subscription or not, right? So with, again, the strategy largely remains the same, which is predict the users who are going to renew the subscription in the next X weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever buffer you want to keep for yourself, or how quickly you want to do a head start, right? And based on that, the people who are having high propensity to kind of renew, recommend them probably to upgrade to higher plans, which is helping you improve the revenue from what they are doing. The ones who are having medium propensity, probably offer them some kind of a incentive, which is, hey, either maybe a sneak a peek into a new series, or maybe a 10% discount on renewal whenever they are doing the renewal in the next few weeks. And the ones who are having a low propensity to renew, these are the ones probably you need to pay attention to, because if you're not nurturing them, if you're not paying attention to them, they are going to leave your platform. And when these kind of users leave, what largely happens is that all the money that you burned on acquiring these customers is in a way lost, right? So it's a lost money for a lost opportunity for any business. So these are the users to whom probably you need to cater to better and say, hey, if you are really interested, if you have certain choices, I would want to either give you those choices at a better rate. I would want to create an incentive for you to stay on my platform. And that's where probably you can send out a com to them, which is, hey, get a 20% discount when you renew the subscription, or maybe we are giving a free upgrade to probably 3 seats or 3 devices instead of just 1 device, which is currently a part of your plan. What this will do largely is, again, as I talked about, this is going to reduce the churn, help you maximize the revenue from the existing users, and drive the upsell for the users who already have a high propensity and are looking forward to consume more of your content. For banking and fintech customers, right? I think one of the key for BNPL or for any lending app, one of the challenges is that the users, most of the time, the users disengage with the product when they are kind of have to pay a penalty. Paying a penalty on my loan is really a bad experience, which I would not want to have even when I'm having a credit card or even when I'm going to a BNPL platform. But for a business, the outcome that has to be achieved is that if I'm not getting my money on time, and to balance the cost of capital where I have kind of borrowed from, I would need to put in the late payment charges or a fee for penalty for delaying this payment, right? So the thin line or the fine balance here is that, hey, go about and inform your users that they are what is the strategy that businesses take here is they try to inform in advance to the users about their bill payments. So they send out bill payment reminders and all such things. But then a lot of times what happens is these bill pay reminders, they become a nuisance, right? If I have been always paying on time, I would not want to see a bill pay reminder. So that's where the strategy comes into picture for businesses, which is they should go about and predict the users who will not pay the dues in the next 4 weeks, and then treat all these segments differently. The ones who are having a high propensity to not pay, tell them about the due date and penalties upfront. That might be an incentive for them to go about and make the payment right now, because some of the times you're not aware about the penalties of the platforms. So make those clear communication about, hey, what is the due date of your credit card payment or your BNPL, and what is the penalty attached to it if you pay a little later. For the ones who are having a medium propensity to kind of not pay the dues, tell them about just the due date instead of the penalty, because these are the ones who are on the fence again. And when you tell them the due date, they might just go about and act on it. And the ones who are having a low propensity, you need not to kind of take any coercive action for them. You can probably go about, these are the users who are valuable for your platform. They are always paying on time. You just tell them probably upgrade them to a next plan or to a higher plan. What it does, again, improves the CX for sure. It improves your customer experience because now you are not sending messages which are borderline offensive to the users who are actually paying on time. You're saving on the losses because you have minimal write-offs, and you are going to improve the engagement as well as avoid the customer churn. So I think we talked in the agenda about what is the impact of prediction for your brand. So these are the key pillars for any marketer or a growth manager, which they look forward to expand onto, which is, hey, as a growth manager, I would want to boost my customer LTV. And with predictions, it is possible because now you are able to improve the retention rate by proactively identifying the customer behavior and targeting basis that. It is going to improve your customer experience. It is going to optimize your marketing spends, because now you're spending only at the places where it is much needed and not spending on the places where it is not needed. It is going to unlock the hidden opportunities because as humans, we can manage only X amount of data. With predictions, it is considering multiple variables, which we do not even know might be having a positive correlation or a negative correlation to a desired action. So what it does is it identifies different features and unlock the hidden opportunities for marketers and growth managers, so that now they can go about and target these users and create those conversion funnel for themselves. It improves the customer retention definitely. And as we talked about, when the customers are being treated the way they are expected to behave, they relate better to your brand. And that's how you deliver a better CX for all these users. I also want to share a few quick stories with you in terms of how some of the brands are using the predictions, how they are using it, how innovatively are they kind of leveraging predictions, and what is the kind of impact that they're seeing. Because I think until then I talked about the kind of use cases, and I think it would be really good to kind of understand how different brands and different verticals are leveraging predictions. So Find is a e-commerce app, and what they largely did was they had this problem about customer low retention rates, and they were also a bit worried about that their email engagement or open rate were pretty low. And what they largely needed was they wanted to optimize the target audience, identify the audience who would actually respond positively to their communication, instead of again spraying and praying and not getting any output while still burning the money on the email or the SMS or whatsoever they were doing. So the solution that they created themselves is that what they understood with predictions is that they combined multiple predictions together. They created a prediction to add the product propensity, and they chose the users who are in medium to high propensity. Then they created another prediction, which was about who are the users who are going to open the emails. And there also, again, they go about medium to high propensity users. And then they also understood who are the users who are probably going to go dormant. And there also they took the lower quartile or the lower percentile, where they went about saying, hey, give me the users who have lower chances of going dormant. And from this segment, they excluded the users who are having a high uninstall propensity, because they did not want to touch them, because they understand these are the users who are disengaged, who are not very much engaged with the brand. So they cannot expect the better outcomes or better email open rates or better engagement from them. So what they largely did was they combined this segment and then started targeting on this segment, which is a combination of 2 or 3 predictive segments. And with that, they were able to improve their customer retention by a huge 129%. And their email open rates just doubled, which is an increase by 100%. And I think that's a great story in terms of when we are talking about how predictions can help you understand those opportunities and leverage those opportunities and right in the moment, and also keep up the pace with the changing customer behavior. Another brand from Southeast Asia called BliBli, they are into their e-commerce website. They also bolstered their email engagement by 63% using predictions. They were seeing that the email engagement is poor and the conversions are also a bit low. And again, the need for the R for them is that identify the right user segment so that they can target that segment and get the better conversions as well as better open rates, so that they are having a higher ROI on their campaign as well as more monetization from their campaigns. So what they did was they created a target audience with email open. So they created a prediction where they try to predict the email open propensity, and then they also created a second prediction, which is, hey, who are the users who are going to convert? And in that, both these cases, they combine the high propensity segments for email open and conversion. And with that, they were able to target these users with emails, and they got a 63% increase in the email open rate. And the conversion rate also increased by 12%. And 12% increase in conversion is a really big impact on any top line of any brand. So these are the success stories that we believe are the ones which are leveraging the predictions in a very smart way across the campaign ROI, across the conversions, across the business outcomes that the brands are looking forward to improve. One of the I think Nestle needs no introduction, and Nestle works with MoEngage, and they tried MoEngage prediction largely around the same strategy, which is they were looking forward to identify the users who are actually going to respond to their emails. And they applied a similar strategy, which is, hey, who are the users who are going to click on my emails instead of just email opens? And which is probably going to a next level of intent, which is higher intent depth. And they said, hey, give me the users who are going to click my emails. With that, MoEngage predictions created a low, medium, high propensity segments. They chose to go with medium to high segments because these are the ones who are definitely or who are having high chances to click on emails. Once they did that and targeted the emails to these users, they were able to get around 40% increase in email open rate, as well as 50% optimization of target audience, in terms of that they were not spending campaign media cost on 100% of the users. They were able to identify that 50% micro segment and thereby able to reduce the campaign spends and improve the ROI from this campaign. I think these are some great stories which a lot of us can kind of replicate and can see really good impact onto our businesses. Uh, Predictions, as I talked about, it's a really versatile product. It's all about what it just takes is you identifying what is the outcome you want to derive, and once you have identified that outcome, you can just go about and seed it inside MoEngage predictions, and the prediction will be at your service. A lot of times, I think all of us would have wished that, hey, what if one of us or all of us can predict the future? Wouldn't that be making our decisions way more balanced? Won't we be able to kind of be gifted with that foresight and accordingly act? I think prediction is that capability which gives you an ability to see the future without even being an oracle. That's where I think the large part of this uh, presentation was about. I'm open to take any question and answers that are there. Prateek?
Yes, Nalin, we have around 18 questions in the Q&A box. We can pick them one by one.
That's great. I will go to Q&A. So I think the first question, if I'm able to see it right, just give me a sec. Yeah, I think the first question is from Jashwini. Can you use predictions as part of flows? So Jashwini, you can create the predictions via the flow that I just talked about. And as soon as the prediction has run, this data will be available for you, as I mentioned, in the user profile. And you can use it inside flows. You can use it inside campaign. You can use it inside any campaign type that MoEngage has. I think Lukmanul has asked this question. Tell me how to read the cohort report. So Lukmanul, I'm guessing that you are talking about the cohort analysis, which is the retention report, which comes in MoEngage Analyze. We can share a document with you, but largely what cohort analysis does is it helps you understand on a week-on-week or a month-on-month basis that the users who came in week 0, how they are kind of carried forward to week 1, week 2, if you're doing a weekly analysis, and same would be true for monthly analysis. So the outcome is that it gives you very clear understanding that the number of users that you're acquiring in a certain period of time, how many of them are carried forward to the next period of time. Yeah. I think Jyoti has asked this question, what is minimum customer base requirement for predictions? So Jyoti, the minimum amount of customers, see, this is a prediction which is based on machine learning. So as we all know, the more the data, the better it can learn, right? So to start the predictions, we should at least have a good amount of samples for the kind of users who have done a positive action or the negative action in the past, because we largely use the classification of the users here. So with that, I would say if you are having 10,000 or 15,000 users basic who are engaged and who have done the action that you're looking forward for, then I think you would be able to get good results. I think there's an anonymous question. You mentioned it is only 60 days worth of data. Is a sufficient period to build predictions, and can it be increased? Presumably, when the prediction set live, the prediction for each user can be built upon a longer period. So at this point of time, we offer a 60 days period, and we believe that the user behavior, the user preferences are changing quite fast. And depending on the kind of vertical, the business vertical you are in, obviously it might make a difference in terms of some are high velocity verticals, while some of them are low velocity verticals. And the low velocity verticals, maybe 1 month or 2 month data might not be as relevant. But at this point of time, we offer 60 days worth of look back period. This can be, we can check about whether this can be increased or not. There is another question, which is, do the prediction update MOM should a user who might have had one? dropped low. Sorry, I'm not able to understand this question, so I'm passing it. Mudit has asked this question: how do I target users who are ready to purchase in the next 7 days? We use FB and Google ads for targeting. Can I export high propensity audience in Google or FB ads? Yes, Mudit, as I mentioned, you can create this prediction in terms of users who are having a high propensity to convert. And once you have this segment ready, you can target them in FB, Google ads, or any of the campaign that MoEngage has. And you can, yes, I think that's a very valid and very relevant use case, which is with which you can optimize your ad spend. You are only targeting the users who are having high propensity via Google or Facebook, which are kind of high cost channels. There's a question from Cyrus: how does MoEngage track conversion? So Cyrus, MoEngage tracks conversion from the data that you or the marketer sent to us from their app. A lot of time, when the conversion is happening on the app, MoEngage gets this event back. And as soon as that happens, MoEngage tracks it as a conversion. How do we decide what kind of attribute event to use for prediction we create? I think that's the beauty of predictions, that you need not to define what kind of attributes or event to use for predictions. You just define the outcome. You define the outcome that, hey, this is what is my desired action. And MoEngage machine learning largely runs across the whole data set, which is all the user events, all the user attributes, and find out what are the ones who are relevant or contributing positively or negatively to this prediction, and uses that over time to kind of create these predictions and run your models and give you the outcome. How can we use these predictions to play more games to users for a real money gaming company? I think that's a very interesting question. I think there is not just predictions. I think there might be a lot many strategies about the same. But from a prediction point of view, you can always go about and understand who are the users who are having higher depth of engagement. You can always go about understand who are the users who are going to play, who are going to play X number of times, who are not going to play the game probably after next 1 week. And that way you are able to kind of stop them from going away from a platform and kind of engage them further. How could these predictions be useful for EdTech company? I think I talked about a lot of use cases which would be relevant for EdTech as well, which is if you see that the user is disengaged, you probably are looking at just 1 or 2 signals, but MoEngage prediction can look at a lot of signals and can give you a leading indicator that the user is disengaged, because the user not renewing your EdTech subscription is probably a lagging indicator. The leading indicator is the change in experience or the change in behavior that you can understand. And that's what predictions leverage, which is you can go about and understand that, hey, who are the users who are going to probably consume the new course that you have launched, and probably try to cross-sell that to the existing users. You can also go about and understand who are the users who are probably about to churn and kind of proactively stop them from going dormant or churning. I'm really amazed with a lot of really good questions and a lot of questions also. Can we use this prediction feature to predict page order performance? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Page order performance. I'll probably pass this at this point of time. Feel free to kind of elaborate in the chat. Can we use prediction for that? How many users are going to install our gaming apps in next 2 weeks? This is slightly tricky in terms of that, given that any journey before install is not captured by MoEngage. So we might not have enough signals to tell that how many of these users are going to install your gaming apps. So I don't think this use case is directly feasible at MoEngage. Can we run prediction on the already saved segment? At this point of time, we allow our customers to run prediction on all the user base. Going forward, we would also allow you to identify a segment and run the prediction only for that segment. How can we export prediction result users or use result users to send them push? You need not to export them, Uday. There's a question from Uday saying, how can we export prediction result users or use that result to send them push? You don't need to export them. As I mentioned, there is a single click, create campaign on whatever high, medium, low propensity that you have. You can just go out and click that and create a push campaign directly from there. You need not to export those users. But for some reason, if you want to export those users, I showed the segmentation as well, where in segmentation you can go about and say, hey, give me the users who are having a high propensity to do ABC, and then you can export those users directly inside the segmentation module that we have. Matthew has a question about cost of the service. I don't have this number at this point of time. I will share this with you probably a little later, Matthew. There's a question from Dinesh, how it will help in the B2B industries. Like I have sellers on one side and schools on other side. We are selling courses to schools, not to the customers. Is the prediction useful in this scenario? I think it all depends on how you are capturing the data about the schools who you're selling to. If there are certain behavior of the schools or there are certain properties of these schools that you're capturing, then based on how this model learns is based on the past behavior of a certain school, and create a model out of it and then say, hey, now I'm going to run this model for different set of customers, right? So if there are certain behavior in the past that the schools have taken, you can now learn from that behavior and target new schools who are going to probably buy those courses. So if you have, say, course X, which has been bought by school 1, 2, 3, on the basis of school 1, 2, 3, my system will learn and it will give you school 4, 5, 6 who are having a high propensity to buy course 1. Which channels have been traditionally and for other clients for propensity to uninstall cohorts? I did not get this question. I'm trying to, if I'm guessing that this means that what channel have been better traditionally and for other clients. So you're saying, if I'm getting it right, you're saying that which channel of communication should be used to target the users who are having a high propensity to uninstall? If there's a question, the answer is that it depends. It depends on the channel propensity also. If the user has not uninstalled the app, then they are about to uninstall the app. And if they are reachable on, say, 3 channels, then in that case, you can do a second level deep dive. MoEngage also has a most preferred channel feature where you can understand who is the user and what is the preferred channel that they have. You can go to flows, take all these user cohorts and target them on their preferred channel instead of kind of making the guess work about which channel is perfect. There's a question from Mahmood. Money transfer is depending on Forex highly. How to use the prediction in this industry? I think money transfer is depending on the Forex. I'm guessing you're talking about money transfer is dependent on the Forex rates. And this is related to probably a remittance kind of a use case. How to use prediction in the industry? So I think definitely there are certain external signals that might always be there. And given that we cannot change those external signals or cannot control those signals, what we need to largely focus on is the internal signals available to us. And in this case, what might so happen is that once, again, the same thing can apply, which is, hey, who are the users who are probably having the propensity to kind of make the Forex transfers? And that can come from their maybe cycles of transfer that can depend on their behavior of checking out your app and checking out the Forex prices and all such things. They are going to make it around their time, but you can always preempt the need or preempt the intent of the users who are having high propensity in comparison to the ones who probably are not sure at this point of time. Do we have some case study for crowdfunding platforms? Mudit, I would need to look back into this at this point of time. I don't think we have a case study around predictions for crowdfunding, but for other pieces we might have a case study for crowdfunding platform. How can we send push with music like Zomato does? That is something again related to push notifications in MoEngage system. Maybe post this conversation, you can just drop us a note and we can share the elaborate article with you. Because I don't think I'll be able to do justice to this question at this point of time. Can we use prediction to some segment with high propensity of bounce session in some period? I think this is a question from Molvi Vibobo. Can we use prediction to some segment with high propensity bounce session in some period? See, I think as I mentioned that these predictions are going to help you know that who are the engaged users. So ideally, if you know that there is a certain group of cohorts who are kind of having low engagement with you, or in the past have bounced off more often, what you can do is you can combine 2 predictions. One is, hey, who are the users who are probably having high propensity to buy from me or high propensity to browse on my website? And you can now take the lower propensity users and combine that on the on-site messaging kind of a ecosystem and say, hey, as soon as a user who is having low propensity to engage with my brand comes on my website, give them something interesting via say on-site pop-up or something of that sort. And that way you can kind of still achieve the outcome that you're talking about. How can we select the country code when we send a push notification? I'm not sure why do you need to select a country code while sending a push notification. But if you want to target users through 2 different countries, let's say if you're having users across 3 or 4 countries, you can actually create something called as locales inside push notifications, and then accordingly send the push notifications to those different users.
Nalin, I think in the essence of time, we can pick like 2 more questions. We have a couple of questions in the chat box. I'll just call them out to you. So one is, what is the minimum customer base requirement for prediction?
I've answered that already, Prateek.
Okay, we'll move to the next. There is one more. You mentioned it is only 60 days worth of data. Is this sufficient period to build predictions?
I've answered that too.
Is covered. Is there a way we can compare A/B test users who we targeted via predictions versus the ones we didn't in some category, in the same category?
Yeah, so good question, Dhaval, and you can certainly do that with MoEngage. Let's say you created a segment, you created a prediction. You would have 3 segments: high, medium, low. What you can largely do is you define that, hey, I would want to target the high propensity users, and or you can kind of create 2 campaigns. One is targeting the high propensity, the second is probably targeting the low propensity, and you can always compare the conversion rates if you want to kind of understand the efficacy of predictions. I think Dinesh has asked this, how will this help the industry like buy Juice with Anto? I think I've answered this question. How can MoEngage help us to view the dormant users? I think we have talked about how you can go about and create the predictions for dormant users. MoEngage also provides another capability called RFM segments, where you can always go about and understand who are the users who are about to sleep. And that is also something which is which points you to the dormancy of these users. Can the number of property parameters in what are being used can be controlled or customized by a marketing team admin? This is a question from Rama. Rama, at this point of time, it cannot be, and I would love to probably understand maybe one-on-one why would you want to do that, because in the end, why we have created prediction is that we don't want marketers to keep on guessing what the variables are or what these features should be. What MoEngage is largely doing is running the analysis across all the variables and then focusing on the ones which are really, really important.